That's me, facing televised execution by breakfast cereal mascots. Not my happiest day.
Welcome to the best and worst of Boy Kills World. All right, so Boy Kills World is an action thriller movie, and I actually had not seen a single trailer somehow for this movie before it came out, which I need to start doing more of because I think that really effective. Just as I look back, I think that affected how much I enjoyed this movie because there are so many things that now, since I've seen the trailer after watching the movie, I'm like, oh, that would have been spoiled. That would have been spoiled. I would not have been surprised by that. You know, even just the little fact of, Jon Benjamin doing the voiceover in this movie. I didn't even know that he was going to be in this movie. So when I heard his voice in the beginning, I was like, wait, is that who I think it is? And then as the movie went on, I was like, oh yeah, it is. And I love this. And that was just an extra layer of just kind of a surprise. So I need to watch less trailers, guys. But, going to see movies, it's just too tempting. Going to see as many movies as I do, it's just too tempting. I love trailers. So, but anyways, I think it helps not to watch them. So this movie is directed by Moritz Moore. Hopefully I said that correctly. Didn't butcher that. Sorry about that. But in his feature directorial debut. And I think he does a very good job with this movie and will definitely get some more work in the future because there's a lot of just good stuff here. It's made really well. It's shot really well. His fight sequences are very effective. And just overall, I think he did a very, very good job with this movie. So that's who it's directed by. This movie stars Bill Skarsgård, Michelle Dockery, Brett Gelman, and of course, like I mentioned, Jon Benjamin as the voice actor in this movie, who, I'm just a big fan of. If you're familiar with his work from Archer, what is it called? Bob's Burger, the other one. I'm not really too familiar with that, but Archer, amazing. His voice is just legendary, and he is a huge reason why, spoiler, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. So we're going to kind of talk about some non-spoilery stuff in the beginning, my review, overall thoughts on this movie before we get into the best and worst of. So just a heads up there. And then in the best and worst of section, there'll definitely be some spoilers for sure. But now let's get into the overall plot of Boy Kills World. So a fever dream action film that follows Boy, who is rendered deaf-mute by an attack that killed his entire family, whose thoughts are presented as an inner voice derived from a childhood video game. After his family's murder, he is trained by a mysterious shaman to repress his childish imagination and become an instrument of death. So, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I did kind of a little spoiler-free, short little out-of-the-theater reaction to the movie, talking about it a bit, because I just enjoyed it so much. I found myself smiling throughout pretty much the entire movie. I was thinking like halfway through, I was like, I'm smiling right now. Like that doesn't happen too often where I'm just smiling in a movie. There's some great humor in this movie, not only from the voiceover stuff from Jon Benjamin, which is legendary and written so well and witty and timed so well, but there is just so many great lines, which we'll talk about when we get to the best lines section, of course, but so many funny moments while also balancing that, doing that just good balancing act of like humor, really good humor with like extreme violence and great kills. The cast is also really good in this movie. Really enjoyed the people they chose to play the different characters in this movie. I thought they did a great job in that area. It's just, I have not seen all of the modern big action movies, as of late. I've been watching just a lot of horror stuff, but I will say, just somebody who's always been an action thriller fan my entire life, I just thought the action in this movie was very, very good. The choreography was great. Just the fight sequences in general were believable and kept you engaged, even at moments where you thought like, oh, this is kind of dragging on maybe a little far. No, you would still find yourself engaged, and I just thought it was really, really well done. And like I said, the kills, damn good, and we'll talk about that more in a second, but just a very good movie. Bill Skarsgård doesn't say anything in this movie. Very effective with his acting regardless. There's some faces I definitely recognize in this movie. It's got the guy from Stranger Things, I forget his name. It's got Mary from Downton Abbey. This is the second straight movie I've I've talked about, which had main characters from Downton Abbey. Kind of funny, but yeah, just really had just so much fun with this movie. So if you're just looking to have a good time this weekend, it comes out soon. It comes out on, Thursday, Friday this week. You're just looking to have a good time and go to an action movie and just laugh and smile and be shocked and have some crazy moments and have a movie that looks good, go see it for sure. So yeah, I just had a good time. And I will say though, the twist at the end of the movie, a little mixed on that. Didn't necessarily love it, didn't necessarily hate it, but it was okay. I thought the little twist at the end was okay, but let's get into it. Let's get into the best and worst, of course. So let's get into it. And like I said, there will be some spoilers in this section for sure. So what's going to age the best in Boy Kills World? So to me, it's got to be the laughs. I think the laughs are going to age the best years from now when we go back and watch this movie, especially, Jon Benjamin's voiceover work. It's just so good, witty, timed so well, written so well. There's so many funny lines. Just his voice in general and the sarcasm that's in his voice is just, it strikes a chord with me. It's something that I connect with and resonate with, and I really enjoy. So you could also say Bill Skarsgård's low body fat percentage in this movie might age pretty damn well, especially when he's like old and wrinkly and maybe a little chubby, when he's always going to look back and be like, damn, I was ripped in this movie, dude. And he was. So what's going to age the worst in this movie? For me, it's probably just answering the question of like how the hell Boy and June survived at the end of this movie. It's like, wait, didn't he get cut through his entire arm? Aren't there arteries in there in his leg? I think the biggest, I didn't study anatomy in college, but don't you have like your biggest artery in your body, like right there in your inner groin area or thigh or whatever? Like this dude got sliced up. June did too. Like how did they survive to the end? So I don't know, maybe that'll age the worst. Kind of a nitpick, but all right. Best location in the movie. So for me, I would say it's the mansion where the dinner party is towards the end of the movie. Really enjoyed that. There's just some great moments there with the macaroon scene, which is funny as hell. There's some good fight sequences there. It just looks cool. There's a little twist with the little trap there. It's just a cool location in the movie for sure. Worst location in Boy Kills World for me, I would say it's the commercial scene, the cereal commercial scene during the choline moment. I don't know. There's just something with that scene. I just didn't enjoy it all that much. I don't know. Probably worst location for me in the movie. Up next is best character in the movie. Like I already said, there are so many good characters in this movie, but to me, and I'm going to butcher this guy's name, but Andrew Koji as Basho, he's like, it's like Bash, but oh. But his character, Basho, great character, so funny. But I mean, I could name probably 5 people here, but his character, Basho, just a great character in the movie. Somebody you root for, hilarious, badass, throws you twists and turns. Like in the beginning when you first meet him, you're like, oh, this guy's going to be dead weight. But no, holds his own, has great ideas towards the end of the movie, helps him get through some moments where where Boy is probably going to get killed, saves him. Basho, great character for sure. Worst character in Boy Kills World for me, it's kind of a tough one, but I would probably say it's June 27. And here's some reasons why. So, yes, her character is a badass and can kick some ass for sure. There's a part of me that kind of feels like the actress could have done a little bit of a better job with the character, kind of pulling you in as an audience. I thought her character was a little bit forgettable, especially without the cool helmet thing. Earlier on in the movie, like, oh, damn, who is this? Who are they going to unveil under this mask? Like, that's a cool ass helmet you can talk through. And she's also like kicking everyone's ass. Obviously, there's going to be a fight between her and Boy because they're both like kung fu masters. And I thought when they revealed her, it was kind of a letdown. But yeah, her character, so those are some of the reasons. I thought she was a little bit forgettable in the second half of the movie. Yeah, she kicked some ass at the end, of course, but still. That role, actually, fun fact, was supposed to be played by Samara Weaving. Kind of crazy, right? Can you imagine? but she had to drop out of the project sort of last minute because of scheduling conflicts and stuff. But I also thought Hilda Vanderkoy, the main kind of like brain behind this whole city, this whole culture, everything evil going on, I also thought her character was a little underwhelming as the main villain in this movie too, but you know. All right, moving on to best line, which I already teased a little bit earlier. So there's so many. I mean, if I went back and rewatched this movie, I could write down 50. But some of the ones that stood out for me were anytime they called Glenn Vanderkoy a fuck puppet, that was always fun. You know, they were like fuck puppet, and he would get so pissed. That was always fun. Another one was when Gideon Vanderkoy says, that's the guy from Stranger Things. He says, Glenn couldn't deliver a shit to the toilet without instructions. That was a fun one. I enjoyed that. Another good one was when Boy was trying to kind of pump himself up to do something. And he says, okay, I can do this. Just remember what shaman says. And then it cuts to the shaman, and the shaman's like, you're a useless piece of oh, wait, that's not it. That was a funny line. Or the other moment, it's one of the earlier fight sequences in the movie when he first gets into the Vanderkoy area, or kind of like goes through the trunk of the car and gets in there, and he's fighting the crackhead soldier guy who's got like the vape pen, which is, I don't know, full of meth or something. But he's fighting the crackhead soldier guy, and Jon Benjamin's his voice gives us because they're doing like the video game voice, like finish him. And so Jon Benjamin gives us the player 2 is fucking crazy. Like later on in their fight, because it's just getting to a point like this guy will not die. He's just ripped his own arm off. I've beaten him to shreds. Like, what is going on here? That line was funny too. Just the timing of all of them and the wittiness, and Jon Benjamin's voice, so good. Just so good. But yep, there's actually no worse lines that stood out to me, honestly. No worse lines. So that section, nope. All right, best kill of Boy Kills World for me. Kind of a tough one. There are a lot of kills in this movie. A lot of epic kills, a lot of gore, a lot of blood. Just a lot in this area. So 2 really stood out in particular for me. I already mentioned this just a second ago, but the long fight with the crackhead guy, the meth head, with the video game dialogue over the top of it. That was a great kill, great fight sequence. That was really damn fun. That was a good time. And the other best kills, I'm gonna say it's plural. Several people got killed. It's a quick sequence, but really damn good. I'm gonna count it in this section. Is the cheese grater sequence. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. He's got like a cheese grater as his only weapon, and he's in the kitchen, and there's like 3 or 4 people in the kitchen coming at him. And dude, everybody in the audience, and it was a packed house, everybody in the audience that was watching that scene was like, ooh, damn, oh. You know, they were just shocked and in awe and like looking away, but also doing that thing where you're like splitting your fingers because you want to see it, but it's like, damn. Great moment with the cheese grater, you know, like cutting up like under the guy's armpit, on their face, on their arm. It was just brutal. Humans are funny because we can watch somebody like, you know, get shot in the chest or get their head cut off, but you bring out a cheese grater and we're just like, oh, damn, you know. That's always funny. But so worst kill in Boy Kills World. You know, since there were really like a million great kills in this movie and just a ton of kills in general, it's like, I mean, you know, this movie, I mean, it's gonna get censored. Like, every kill can't be like crazy and bloody and spraying all over the screen and you know, it's like, so you can't really like knock the movie for it because the kills are so good in this movie. So I'm gonna kind of switch it up a little bit, and I'm gonna say how pissed I was when they killed Basho in this movie. When Basho dies, I was sad, man. No, but you know, that it was like, damn. My favorite character, arguably, in the movie. Probably my favorite character, like I mentioned. Dead. I was like, damn, they had to kill him? What if there's a sequel? I mean, it could come back. We've seen crazier things. But still, that was like, no. Basho? No. So, worst kill for me, Basho. Best moment of Boy Kills World for me. So, to me, I would have to say it's the entire opening in the jungle when Boy is training and doing the whole thing. He's growing up. He's fighting with the shaman. And we're just starting to get introduced to Jon Benjamin's voiceover. You know, we're just starting to get into like the humor of the movie and the dialogue and the just everything that we're going to kind of just experience throughout the rest of the movie. That's just great. We get so many great lines there. You know, we're like getting the moments where he's also talking to, you know, his sisters, the ghost of his sister, and the funny dialogue with that. It's just, that's best moment of the movie for me. I just really enjoyed that and just kicked off the rest of the movie very, very well. So, to kind of piggyback a little bit off of what I said earlier, worst moment in the movie for me, just the whole cereal commercial fight thing during the culling. By the way, the culling, great video game that came out in like 2016 or whatever. That game was amazing. Sucks that game shut down. Great game. But anyways, worst moment, that whole cereal commercial fight sequence, it just didn't really do it for me. There was some gore and some things, but Basho, you know, gets injured. His buddy gets killed in that sequence. And just the way it looked and the way it all went down, some of the fighting, it just didn't really do it for me. So that was probably the worst. That was the worst moment of the movie for me. So there you go. Boy Kills World. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, I would recommend going and watching it, especially if you're an action fan, especially if you're an Archer fan with Jon Benjamin's voiceover in this. Obviously a big part of this movie, but really enjoyed it. Don't watch the trailer though. Just listen to Uncle Matt here and go watch the movie. So yeah, like I said, really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching the best and worst of Boy Kills World. Let me know down below some of your favorite moments of the movie if you've seen it so far. But again, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in the next one.